Due to technical issues, the search service is temporarily unavailable. The Galactic Council chamber hummed with low, resonant energy, the air thick with the weight of millennia-old decisions. Representatives from countless species filled the room, their forms as varied as the stars they hailed from. At the center of the chamber, a holographic projection flickered, displaying a map of the known universe. The council's leader, a towering being with iridescent scales, raised a clawed hand, silencing the murmurs. "The rule remains," they intoned, their voice echoing with authority. "Do not wake the humans. Their existence is a threat to the stability of all we have built." The rule was ancient, older than most civilizations present. It was etched into the fabric of the universe, a warning passed down through generations. The humans, once a dominant force, had been sealed away in stasis after a cataclysm that nearly tore the cosmos apart. Their ingenuity, their relentless drive had been their undoing, and the universe's. The Council had deemed them too dangerous to exist freely. And so they slept, scattered across forgotten worlds, their presence a closely guarded secret. But secrets have a way of unraveling. On the edge of the galaxy, a young species, barely spacefaring, stumbled upon a derelict structure buried beneath the surface of a barren moon. Curiosity drove them to explore, their naive excitement blinding them to the warnings etched in the ancient ruins. Inside, they found a chamber filled with stasis pods, their surfaces frosted over. One pod, cracked and flickering, caught their attention. Against their better judgment, they activated it. The pod hissed open, releasing a cloud of icy vapor. Inside lay a human, their form frail but unmistakable. The young species watched in awe as the human stirred, their eyes fluttering open. The human, Alex, blinked, disoriented, their minds struggling to piece together fragments of a forgotten past. The young species hesitated, torn between fear and fascination. They had heard the stories, the warnings, but seeing a human in the flesh was something else entirely. Meanwhile, the Council's sensors detected the disturbance. Alarms blared, and the chamber erupted into chaos. "A human has been awakened," the leader declared, their voice tinged with dread. "This cannot stand. We must act swiftly." A fleet was dispatched, their orders clear: neutralize the threat before it spread. But the Council's fear was not just of the human's potential for destruction. It was of what the human represented. A reminder of a time when the universe was wild, untamed, and unpredictable. Alex, still weak from centuries of stasis, began to piece together their surroundings. The young species, though terrified, offered assistance, their curiosity outweighing their fear. Alex's mind, sharp and analytical, quickly adapted to the situation. They studied the alien technology around them, their hands moving with practiced precision. It was as if their instincts had never faded, their ability to understand and manipulate the world around them still intact. As the Council's fleet approached, Alex sensed the impending danger. They turned to the young species, their voice calm but firm. "You've made a mistake," they said, "but it's one we can fix. Help me, and I'll make sure you survive what's coming." The young species, though hesitant, agreed. Together, they began to prepare, Alex's ingenuity and the young species' knowledge of their own technology forming an unlikely alliance. The section ends with Alex standing at the edge of the moon's surface, gazing up at the stars. The Council's fleet loomed in the distance, their ships bristling with weapons. But Alex felt no fear. Instead, a spark of determination ignited within them. They had been asleep for too long, and the universe had changed. But one thing remained the same: humanity's ability to defy the odds. As the fleet drew closer, Alex activated a device they had cobbled together from ruins. The universe had one rule, but Alex was about to break it, and in doing so, rewrite the fate of all. Due to technical issues, the search service is temporarily unavailable. The Council's fleet descended upon the barren moon, their ships casting long shadows over the cracked surface. Alex stood at the edge of the ruins, their makeshift device humming softly in their hands. The young species huddled behind them, their fear palpable but tempered by a growing trust in the human. Alex's mind raced, calculating the odds, searching for a way to turn the tide. They knew they were outmatched in firepower, But humanity had never relied on brute strength alone. It was their ingenuity, their ability to think beyond the obvious, that had always set them apart. The fleet's commander, a stoic figure clad in gleaming armor, transmitted a stern warning. Surrender the human, and no harm will come to you. Resist, and you will be eradicated. The young species trembled, their leader stepping forward to plead for mercy. But Alex raised a hand, silencing them. They won't listen, Alex said, their voice steady. They're afraid of what I represent. But fear can be used against them. With a flick of their wrist, Alex activated the device. A low hum reverberated through the air, and the ground beneath the fleet's ships began to tremble. The commander's voice crackled over the comms, demanding an explanation. But it was too late. The ruins around Alex came to life, ancient machinery awakening after eons of dormancy. Energy surged through the structures, forming a protective barrier around the moon. The fleet's weapons fired, but the blast dissipated harmlessly against the shield. Alex turned to the young species, their expression grim but determined. This won't hold them forever. We need to buy time. The young species nodded, their fear giving way to resolve. Together, they began to fortify their position, using the alien technology to create traps and distractions. Alex's mind worked tirelessly, devising strategies and counter-strategies, their every move calculated to maximize their chances of survival. As the fleet regrouped, Alex took a moment to reflect. They had been thrust into a universe that feared them, a universe that had tried to erase them. But Alex refused to be a pawn in someone else's game. They were human, and humanity had always been defined by their ability to rise above adversity. The Council saw them as a threat, but Alex knew they could be so much more. They just needed to prove it. The fleet launched a second assault, this time with greater coordination. The shield began to falter, cracks forming in its shimmering surface. Alex gritted their teeth, pushing the device to its limits. But they knew they couldn't hold out forever. They needed a new plan, one that would force the Council to reconsider their approach. Turning to the young species, Alex asked, "Do you trust me?" The young species hesitated, then nodded. "Good," Alex said. "Then follow my lead." With a burst of energy, Alex deactivated the shield, leaving the moon exposed. The fleet hesitated, unsure of a human's intentions. Alex stepped forward, their hands raised in a gesture of peace. "I am not your enemy," they declared, their voice carrying across the void. "But if you continue to treat me as one, you will force my hand. I offer you a choice, stand down or face the consequences." The commander scoffed, ordering the fleet to advance. But as they did, Alex activated a second device, one they had been working on in secret. The moon's surface erupted in a blinding light, and the fleet's systems went haywire. Ships collided, their weapons misfiring, their communications jammed. In the chaos, Alex and the young species made their move, using the confusion to slip past the fleet and into the safety of deep space. As they fled, Alex couldn't help but feel a sense of triumph. They had faced overwhelming odds and emerged victorious, not through strength, but through cunning and determination. But they knew this was only the beginning. The Council would not rest until they were captured, and the universe would not be safe until humanity's place in it was secured. Alex turned to the young species, their expression resolute. "We have a long road ahead," they said, "but together we can change the course of history." The section ends with Alex and the young species disappearing into the stars, their fate uncertain, but their resolve unshaken. The Council, meanwhile, was left to pick up the pieces, their fear of humanity growing with each passing moment. The universe had one rule, but Alex had proven that rules were made to be broken. And in breaking them, they had set the stage for a new era, one where humanity would no longer be feared, but revered. Due to technical issues, the search service is temporarily unavailable. The Council's fleet, battered and disoriented, retreated to regroup. Reports of the humans' escape spread like wildfire, igniting fear and uncertainty across the galaxy. The Council convened an emergency session, their debates growing increasingly heated. Some argued for a full-scale war, while others cautioned against provoking the human further. The leader, their scales shimmering with agitation, silenced the room. "We underestimated them once. they said. We cannot afford to do so again. Humanity's awakening is a threat to the balance we have maintained for eons. They must be contained or eliminated. Meanwhile, Alex and the young species found refuge in a remote asteroid belt, their ship hidden among the jagged rocks. Alex spent every waking moment studying the alien technology they had salvaged, their mind racing with possibilities. The young species watched in awe as the human dismantled and reassembled devices with ease, their ingenuity seemingly boundless. "What are you planning?" the young species leader asked, their voice tinged with both curiosity and apprehension. Alex looked up, their eyes gleaming with determination. "I'm planning to show the universe that humanity isn't a threat," they replied. "But to do that, we need to expose the Council's lies." As Alex worked, they uncovered fragments of data buried deep within the ancient systems. The record spoke of a time when humanity had been a beacon of progress, their innovations benefiting countless species. But the Council, fearing their growing influence, had orchestrated their downfall. The truth was buried beneath layers of propaganda, but Alex was determined to bring it to light. "The Council didn't put us into stasis because we were dangerous," Alex explained to young species. "They did it because they were afraid of losing control. They've been manipulating the universe for their own gain, and it's time we put an end to it." The young species, inspired by Alex's resolve, pledged their support. Together, they began to rally other species, spreading the truth about humanity and the Council's deceit. At first, their efforts were met with skepticism, but as more evidence came to light, doubt began to creep into the minds of the galaxy's inhabitants. The Council, sensing the shift, grew desperate. They intensified their efforts to capture Alex, deploying spies and assassins to silence the human once and for all. One such attempt nearly succeeded. A covert operative infiltrated the asteroid base, their movements swift and silent. But Alex, ever vigilant, anticipated the attack. A fierce struggle ensued, the operative's advanced technology pitted against Alex's resourcefulness. In the end, it was Alex's quick thinking that turned the tide. Using a modified piece of equipment, they disabled the operative's weapons and subdued them. Instead of killing their would-be assassin, Alex offered them a choice. "Join us, or return to your masters with a message. Tell them humanity will not be silenced." The operative, shaken but intrigued, chose to deliver the message. As they departed, Alex turned to the young species. "The Council's fear is their weakness," they said. "They rely on control, but control can be broken. We need to show the galaxy that there's another way, a way built on trust and cooperation, not fear and domination." The section ends with Alex and their allies preparing for their next move. The Council, now aware of the growing dissent, scrambled to maintain their grip on power. But the seeds of rebellion had been sown, and the universe stood on the brink of a revolution. Alex knew the road ahead would be fraught with danger, but they also knew that humanity's greatest strength had always been their ability to unite others in the face of adversity. The universe had one rule, but Alex was determined to replace it with a new one: that no species, no matter how powerful, should ever be silenced again. Due to technical issues, the search service is temporarily unavailable. The Council's grip on the galaxy began to unravel as Alex's message spread. Species once loyal to the Council now questioned their leaders, their trust eroded by the revelations of humanity's true history. The Council, desperate to maintain control, declared Alex a fugitive and issued a bounty, so large it could buy entire star systems. But the more they tried to suppress the truth, the more it flourished. Alex's words resonated with those who had long felt oppressed, and a coalition of species began to form, united by a common goal: to challenge the Council's authority and create a new order. Alex, now a symbol of hope, worked tirelessly to organize the growing resistance. They traveled from system to system, rallying support and sharing their vision of a galaxy where no species would be silenced or subjugated. The young species, once fearful and uncertain, had become Alex's most loyal allies, their admiration for the human growing with each passing day. Together, they devised a plan to confront the Council directly, not through force, but through the power of truth. The Council, aware of the mounting threat, prepared for war. Their fleets amassed, their weapons primed, and their propaganda machines worked overtime to paint Alex as a dangerous radical. But Alex knew that a direct confrontation would only play into the Council's hands. Instead, they proposed a bold and unconventional strategy, a public broadcast that would reach every corner of the galaxy, exposing the Council's lies and calling for unity. The resistance worked in secret, using stolen technology and covert networks to prepare for the broadcast. Alex's speech was carefully crafted, each word chosen to inspire and empower. When the time came, the signal was sent, bypassing the Council's defenses and flooding the galaxy with Alex's voice. "We are not your enemies," Alex declared, their words echoing across countless worlds. "We are your allies, your partners, your fellow beings. The Council has lied to you, manipulated you, and divided you. But together, we can build a future where no species is feared or forgotten." The impact was immediate. Across the galaxy, species rose up in solidarity, their leaders demanding answers from the Council. The Council, caught off guard, struggled to contain the unrest. Their fleets, once a symbol of invincibility, were now seen as tools of oppression. Even some within the Council began to question their leaders, their loyalty wavering in the face of overwhelming evidence. In a final, desperate move, the Council's leader called for a summit, inviting Alex and representatives from every species to negotiate a resolution. Alex accepted, knowing the risks but believing in the power of dialogue. The summit was held on a neutral world, its atmosphere tense with anticipation. The Council's leader, their scales dulled by stress, addressed the assembly. "We have made mistakes," they admitted, their voice heavy with regret. "But we acted in what we believed was the best interest of the galaxy. We are willing to change, to listen, and to work with you to create a better future." Alex stepped forward, their presence commanding the room. "Change cannot come from empty promises," they said. "It must come from action. The Council must relinquish its control and allow the galaxy to govern itself. Only then can we truly move forward." The assembly erupted in applause, their voices united in agreement. The Council, realizing they had no other choice, reluctantly agreed to dissolve their authority and establish a new governing body, one that represented all species equally. The section ends with Alex standing at the forefront of a new era. The galaxy, once divided by fear and mistrust, was now united by hope and determination. Humanity, long feared and forgotten, had become a beacon of progress and unity. As the stars shimmered above, Alex felt a sense of fulfillment. The universe had one rule, but together they had rewritten it. And in doing so, they had proven that even the smallest spark of courage could ignite a revolution.